The Speaking Statements, the podcast of statements about the 50 U.S. states. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell for alerts for when a new episode is released.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 2 of the Speaking Statements. We have a guest here for Pennsylvania. I'm so happy to announce one of my uncles, great Uncle Theodore, goes by Ted. Hi, Ted. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Julian. Thanks for having me on your show today.
We're welcome to have you talk about Pennsylvania with us. My first question is, where in Pennsylvania did you live and for how long?
Well, I was born in Pennsylvania, in Kane, Pennsylvania, and I lived there for about 26 years. I went to college, went to graduate school, but always used Kane as my home base. I also lived in Erie, Pennsylvania for college and then went back to live there for another few years, so probably about 10 years in Erie. And I lived in Smethport, Pennsylvania for about 8 years. And I spent 7 summers outside of Smethport working at a Boy Scout camp. I lived in Bradford, Pennsylvania for about 3 years. And I lived in Ridgeway, Pennsylvania for probably 10 years off and on different times. So I've lived in several wonderful places in Pennsylvania.
Okay, so let's see, that's 10, 11, 20, 11, 26, 47. So you lived in Pennsylvania for 47 years.
Yes. It's a long time living in that wonderful state.
My second question is, what do you like about Pennsylvania?
One of the things I love about Pennsylvania is the woods. You know, Pennsylvania is Penn's Woods, Pennsylvania. The name is right there. And I love the woods. And like I mentioned, I worked at a Boy Scout camp that had 1,200 acres. And so I just love the woods and all that goes with it. Just being out in the woods, camping, hiking, having fires, spending time near the water. So I really enjoy that about our state.
Well, my third question is, what makes Pennsylvania stand out from other states?
I think it's the 4 distinct seasons stands out a lot from other states. It's got this beautiful spring. Summer is just beautiful because it's cool evenings and warm days. Fall, the foliage is beautiful when all the leaves change because there's so much forest area. The colors are just magnificent. And then winter is just pretty big. Lots of snow. Again, lots of people do snowmobiling and do cross-country skiing. So the 4 distinct seasons make Pennsylvania pretty attractive to people.
By the way, what's a foliage?
Oh, foliage. That's the leaves. That's the official name of leaves on a tree is foliage. When they call fall foliage, that's when all the leaves turn reds and yellows and orange. So that's what we call the leaves. The leaves.
Interesting. My fourth question is, what's fun about the history of Pennsylvania?
Oh, what's really fun about the history of Pennsylvania is Philadelphia. Philadelphia is a pretty big, important city for the United States because the Declaration of Independence was signed July 4, 1776 in Independence Hall in Philadelphia. And then Philadelphia was the capital of the United States from 1790 to 1800 while Washington, D.C. was being built. I think a lot of people didn't know that Philadelphia was the capital for a while, and it's very important in the history of who we are as a nation.
Well, I didn't know that, but I do know that the Declaration was signed in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Right.
My fifth question is, what do most people not know about Pennsylvania?
Oh, I love this question. most people don't know that Oil City, Pennsylvania, it's in Venango County, is very important to the oil industry in the United States. It was in about 1859 that Colonel Edwin Drake went to Oil City because they knew there was oil in the ground, but no one had figured out how to get it out of the ground. And so Colonel Edwin Drake was the first person to practically use what's called salt drilling techniques for extracting the petroleum through an oil well. And so there's this great little museum called Drake's Well, named after Colonel Drake, where oil production, getting oil out of the ground first happened. And then along with that came how to transport the oil, and then the city built up around it. So lots of economic positive stuff happened right in that area just because of Colonel Drake and his ingenuity of how to get oil out of the ground in Oil City, Pennsylvania.
Wow, I didn't know that either. Well, thanks for being on the show. We were glad to have you here.
Well, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure to know somebody who's doing such a very cool podcast.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Now we'll do my notes. Pennsylvania became a state in 1787, which is pretty early because it was the second state of the United States. The largest cities are Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Allentown. Philadelphia is the biggest. It's near the Atlantic Ocean and borders 6 states: Ohio, West Virginia, Maryland, New York, New Jersey, and Delaware. Indigenous people have lived in what is now the city of Philadelphia for thousands of years. Mount Davis is the highest point in Pennsylvania. Visitors can learn about chocolate at Hershey's Chocolate World in Pennsylvania, which is in Hershey, Pennsylvania. One of the places money is made in the U.S. is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We'll do Fast Facts to Leo now. Start us off, Leo. What is the state tree? The state tree is the hemlock. What is the state flower? It would be the mountain laurel. What is the state bird? A ruffed grouse. What is the state animal? White-tailed deer. What is the state beverage? The state beverage is milk. What is the state cookie? The state cookie is chocolate chip, my favorite. What is the state dog? The state dog is a Great Dane. What is the state fish? State fish is a brook trout. What is the state insect? The state insect is a firefly. Thanks for doing the fast fact of us, Leo. Welcome. And did you hear that woof woof when I did the dog? The dog make woof. Yes, I know that's your favorite animal, Leo. Bye. Bye. And now, but not least, Pennsylvania quarter is the outline of the state, which is like a rectangle. A statue put in the middle with words virtue, liberty, and independence on the right side. That's all for today. We'll see you in June for the next episode. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Speaking Statements.